On February 15, consultations within the framework of the Vienna document, VD, are to be held at the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, OSCE. It was adopted by OSCE members in 2011 and involves the exchange of military information in order to reduce the risk of clashes. These consultations were requested by the Ukrainian side. On February 11, Kiev turned to Moscow to explain in detail its military activities in regions near Ukraine within 48 hours, in accordance with Section E of the Internal Affairs. Russia did not respond then, as RIA Novosti reported. Citing a source in the Russian Foreign Ministry, Moscow does not consider the Ukrainian request justified, since its activities are not unusual and do not give grounds for launching the VD mechanism. 2 days later, Kiev demanded that bilateral consultations be held with all interested signatories of the Vienna document. Prior to this, the Baltic countries addressed Belarus with a demand to clarify the goals of the Russian-Belarusian military exercises. Allied Resolve 2022. A meeting on this subject was held on February 14. According to a Russian source of Izvestia familiar with the situation, coupled with the upcoming meeting on the Russian Federation, this looks like a propaganda campaign. First, a meeting on Belarus, then on Russia. All this is done in order to escalate the situation, the source of Izvestia noted. The last time such meetings were held in the spring of 2021. There were 2 of them. Russia was present at one of them, and not at the other. Oleg Shakirov, a senior expert at the Center for Advanced Management Decisions and a PIR Center consultant, explained to Izvestia. The mechanism is quite technical, and if countries have any concerns, they can use it. There is also an information aspect here. These requests are transmitted over the OSCE communication network. They do not have to be public, and if they are made public, then this is a conscious step that can be interpreted as a tool in a political game. We should not expect the consultations on the Vienna document to bring any real breakthrough solutions, the expert concluded. Meanwhile, in Kiev on the evening of February 14, Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the nation. He said that now his country is stronger than ever, despite the fact that the Western media once again sets the date for a military invasion. The Ukrainian president announced that February 16 was declared the Day of Unity, and called on all civil servants who went abroad to return to the country within 24 hours. Recently, Russia has been expressing more and more complaints about the work of the OSCE. The fact that Moscow does not perceive the organization as a real platform for resolving security issues was stated by the permanent representative of the Russian Federation to the organization Alexander Lukashevich back in mid-January 2022, shortly after a series of negotiations on the requirements of the Russian Federation on security guarantees took place in Geneva, Brussels and Vienna. We did not intend and are not going to have any discussions on our initiatives in the OSCE. This is an amorphous structure, which also does not have an international legal status, the diplomat said at the time. According to him, the organization is experiencing an identity crisis. It is increasingly trying to fit into the Euro-Atlantic matrix, adopting the approaches of NATO and the European Union, and is not able to somehow influence the situation in the region. At the same time, Alexander Lukashevich stressed, this platform still remains important and necessary for Russian foreign policy. The OSCE itself emphasizes that it is the world's largest regional organization, but how it works depends on the countries participating in it. The OSCE offers a platform for dialogue and cooperation on a scale not found in any other part of the world. With such a broad representation, 57 member states that think differently, contradictions certainly exist, the press service of the organization told Izvestia. Nevertheless, the OSCE has tools and mechanisms that provide a vital platform for dialogue and cooperation. The OSCE is always ready to maintain a dialogue on the situation in the region. However, we have no right to evaluate such discussions. At the end of January, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov sent a message to the OSCE and NATO members, in which he demanded that they clarify how they see their security obligations in Europe and evaluate the concept of indivisible security. A few days later, on February 14, when work on the Russian written responses to security assurances reached the finish line, Sergei Lavrov himself expressed his assessment. We received two small pieces of paper. One from official Stoltenberg, NATO Secretary-General. The second from official Borrell, head of diplomacy of the European Foreign Service, which says, "Don't worry, we need to continue the dialogue. The main thing is to ensure de-escalation around Ukraine," the minister said. Meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, he regarded these answers as a neglect of the idea of indivisible security and stated that Moscow would continue to seek a specific reaction from each country, since all the documents in question were signed in a national capacity.